Hello everyone and welcome back to this Kubernetes 0 to Hero series. In the last session, we looked at Kubernetes secrets and how we can use secrets for passing sensitive information to the pods. We also looked at two ways that we can pass secrets. One is using env, which is your environment variables, and the second is volume mounts. In today's session, we are going to talk about Kubernetes volumes. It's 2 a.m. on a Sunday, your phone rings off the hook, it's PagerDuty. The e-commerce database running inside your Kubernetes cluster just went down. You jump on your laptop, check the pod status and see that the database container crashed due to an out-of-memory error. No big deal, right? Kubernetes does what it's built to do. It automatically restarts the crashed container in a fraction of a second. You take a deep breath, verify the pod is back in a running state and log into your application to verify everything is back to normal. But when you query the database, your stomach drops. Every single user account, transaction log, and customer order created over the last 6 months are completely gone. The database is totally empty. So, how did a simple container restart wipe out gigabytes of critical production data? Today, we are going to unravel the mystery of Kubernetes ephemeral storage, discover why containers lose their memory by design, and learn how to use Kubernetes volumes to make your data persistent and indestructible. So, the problem statement is to understand why your data disappeared into the thin air, we have to look at the fundamental architecture of a container. Containers were never meant to be stateful. They were designed from day one to be ephemeral, which is a fancy word for temporary. When a container running inside a pod writes a file to its file system, say uploading a profile picture or saving a dataset record to its, let's say, var lib data, that file is written directly to the container's writable layer. This writable layer lives and dies with the container instance. Now, if the application inside crashes, if the node runs out of memory, or if you run a simple kubectl rollout restart deployment, Kubernetes destroys that specific container instance and spins up a brand new clean image layer. The moment the old container dies, the entire local writable life system is completely erased. Now, if you're running a stateless microservice like an Nginx web server or a Node.js API, this ephemeral is a feature, not a bug. You want clean restarts. But what happens when you run a database like PostgreSQL, MySQL, Redis, or even a service that processes local media files? Relying on default container storage in those scenarios is a guaranteed disaster waiting to happen. So, how do we fix this? We need a mechanism that separates the lifecycle of our data from the lifecycle of our containers. This is where Kubernetes volumes comes in. Think of a Kubernetes pod like a rented apartment and the container inside it like a tenant. If the tenant moves out or gets evicted, everything inside the apartment's internal drawers gets thrown away. But a Kubernetes volume is like an external storage locker that attached outside the apartment building. The tenant can plug a cable from their living room into the storage locker, read and write files all day long, and if that tenant leaves, a new tenant comes in. The new tenant simply plugs into the exact same storage locker. The data remains completely untouched. At its core, a Kubernetes volume is simply a directory accessible to the containers inside a pod. Unlike container file system, a volume outlives individual container restarts. Now, Kubernetes provides several types of volumes, but today we are going to focus on two foundational volume types every engineer must master. First is emptyDir. Now, this is an ephemeral volume created right when the pod is assigned to a node. It survives container crashes within the same pod, making it perfect for temporary scratch spaces, cache buffers, or sharing data between multiple containers in the same pod. And then you have host path, which is you can use this to mount a directory directly from the physical worker node's host file system into your pod. Let's jump into the terminal and see how this behaves in real life. So here I have my manifest files that I'll be using for this demo. I have the same files here in my GitHub repo as well. I'll share the link to this so you can simply use this and run it if you wanna give this a try. First, what we will do is we will prove how data disappears without using any volumes, and then we will see how we can fix it using emptyDir, and then we will also look at how we can use the host path to mount our directory from our node machines. So here, let me show you what I have in this ephemeral. So we are simply creating a pod. We are creating it in the finance namespace, and this is the image that I am using. So nothing fancy, just creating a simple pod. So you can see there's no volume configuration over here. So let's go ahead and apply this. So kubectl apply -r ephemeral, and this should create a pod for me. So kubectl get pods, and here I have my pod running. Now let's exec into this pod, and we'll write some critical data into the data folder. So kubectl exec, and this is the name of my pod, and let's go inside this. Now what we will do is, so basically here, let me see if we have slash data. So we'll create a new folder over here. So make directory -p slash, sorry, it should be data. And now let's go to that folder, and as of now you can see this is empty, so we'll create some data over here. So let's say echo critical customer info, and let's write this to orders.txt. So basically we have written some data. Now this is inside the pod. All right, now so let me exit from here, and kubectl get pods. So here I have the pod, and again we can validate this. So here let's say I'll say cat slash data slash orders.txt, and I have the data. Now let's simulate a container crash by killing our main application process that is running inside this container. So let's say kubectl exec-it, my pod name, and so I'm running nginx here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and stop my nginx. Let me run this, and you can see here signal process started. Now let me get my pods once again. And here, if you look at this restart, the restart count increments to 1. So what has happened here is Kubernetes automatically restarted our container. Alright, so I stopped the process, and because of that my Kubernetes went ahead and automatically restarted my container to fix my application. Now let's check if our critical data survived this crash. So let me run this command once again, and you can see no such file or directory, right? So you get this error. Our data is completely destroyed when the container crashed, right? So this is what I meant by when I say containers or your pods are ephemeral. The data lives as long as your container is alive. If your container dies, the data is also gone. So how do you fix this? This is where we make use of your volumes. So for this, we will use our second YAML file, which is my emptyDir. So we are going to make use of the volumes to fix this ephemeral issue. We will make our data persistent. So under the spec, under the volumes here, this is where we have defined our volumes, basically making our data persistent. So under this volumes section over here, you can see I've created an emptyDir volume, and I'm naming it as cache volume. And then under the containers spec, I've used this volume mounts. So you are basically attaching this cache volume to this particular path. So what I'm telling is, hey, whatever the data I'm gonna have, make it persistent and store it in this emptyDir. Now let's go ahead and apply this. So kubectl apply -f emptyDir, and this will also create a pod for me. So kubectl get pods, and here I'll have my pod. We'll again go ahead and create some data into this. So kubectl exec, and we'll again do the same thing. So we'll create a directory slash data, and we'll go to that, and let's say critical customer info, and we'll write this to, let's say, orders.txt, and here I have the file. Let me exit from the container, and here we can see the data. So orders.txt, and I'm able to read the data. So now again, let's simulate our container crash. Right, so this is what I was using, and let me me change this, emptyDir. And again, you can see signal process started. And now if you look at our pods, again, this will also show that my container has restarted. So you can see Kubernetes went ahead and automatically restarted my container. Now let's see if my data is still available or not. And you can see here my data is available. So without volumes, when my container crashed, my data was also gone. But with volumes, in this case specifically emptyDir, my data survived the container crash and the critical data is still available. Right? So even though the container died and the container was completely recreated, the data that is attached to this pod's volume survived perfectly. Now, please remember, in this case, we did not crash the pod, all right? We crashed only the container running inside the pod, and that is where we have this emptyDir. Now, if the pod also died, then this data will be gone. So, we'll talk about that in the next session. But that's basically what your emptyDir is. So whenever so you can use this for your cache if you want to store some caches within the pod, or if you're running multiple containers inside the pod and you want to share the data between these two containers, you can make use of your emptyDir. Now let's look at the second example, which is the host path. Now at any point, let's say for example, here I have all these files, right? So I have my directory. So if you want to attach your working machines directory directly to your containers, you can make use of your host path. So here, this is the manifest file I have. So we're creating a pod. I have the containers, and under the volumes spec, you can see we are using host path. What is the path and what is the type? So I'm telling that, hey, this is what I want to mount, and this is a directory, and this is from my host machine. And where do you want to mount inside the container? So I want to mount it to this path, and I'm telling this is only read only. So basically, even if I try making some changes inside the container, it won't reflect on my node machine. All right. Now, so this is basically what your host path is. So whatever I have on my host machine, where my cluster is running, whatever I have in this path will be attached to my container under this path. Now, a very important thing that I want you to understand here is, in my case, so kubectl get nodes, the cluster, I am running this as a Docker using this tool called kind. So in my case, whatever I have under in this container under this part, that is what will be mounted and not my actual host machine. So let's say, for example, if I go to this docker exec, so here under my var log for this container, this is basically the kind. This is what I'm using to run my Kubernetes cluster, and this is what I have. So this is what will be mounted to my container, and not what I have over here on my local machine. So I just want you to understand, not to get confused with this. All right. So let me go ahead and apply this. So kubectl apply -f host path, and this will also create a container for me. So kubectl get pods. So here, and let's exec into this. So kubectl exec h, and if I go to the path, which was so /app, and under this I have my host logs, and here you can see I have the same data. So whatever I had running in my container. So let me just show this once again. Let me exit from here, and let me run this command once again. Okay, and now let me go to the container, and here also I will be able to see the same data. All right, so this is basically what your host path is. So whatever you have on your host machine, if you want to mount a directory from your host machine to the container, we can make use of your host path. So here, whatever you have on your host machine, if you want to mount that to your container, we can make use of your host path. So that's basically your volume. So these are the foundational layers. There are a few more important volumes that we will be talking in the next session. Containers are ephemeral by default. Any data returned directly to a container's local file system is permanently lost when the container restarts. Kubernetes volumes decouple data storage from the container lifecycle, ensuring your files survive container crashes. emptyDir provides temporary shared storage that lasts for the life of the pod, perfect for scratch spaces, logs, and sidecar communication. HostPath allows you to use node machines storage and mount the host machine directly to your containers. Now, while emptyDir survives container restarts, what happens if the whole pod is deleted or the physical worker node explodes? emptyDir dies with the pod. That brings us to our next major architectural step, persistent volumes. In the next session, we will look at how we can build production grade persistent storage that survives node crashes and pod deletions. If you found this session helpful, please hit that like button, share and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you have any feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next session.